Hello everyone, this is Just a Dad. I'm going to review this Bunn commercial coffee maker. So we've got this one connected to a water line and it fills up automatically. You don't have to dump water into it. So this thing where water normally goes is got a lock on it so you can't open it. So the way we did it is we just ran a line over to our sink and changed out that valve to add an extra port so we could get water off of it. Okay, so as you can see on the back, it's got this copper water line that we hook up to it, and it's got water pressure going to it at all times, so it's ready to go. It does have this on-off switch that you keep on all the time, but if you were going to leave for an extended period of time, you would turn that off. It's got a schematic that explains the water line hookups. Okay, so what is nice about these coffee makers is, like I said, you don't have to pour water in. It automatically fills up the right amount of water. You've got this has hot water all the time. So with this on, so even though the front switches are off, the tank back here, you can feel it, it's kind of warm. It's keeping the water hot at all times so that it's ready to go when you're ready to brew a pot of coffee. It's got this green indicator light that's on. It's got this nice stainless steel basket that's just, very industrial, ready for use. You've got two burners on the top that you can keep coffee warm, and each of those has their own individual switch. When you turn them on, they light up. And then the lower one, this turns the coffee maker on, and then this is a spring-loaded switch. When I want to brew a pot of coffee, I'm going to press that down. So these Bunn commercial coffee makers take a pretty big filter. I'm going to put a link to the coffee maker, the filters, and everything in my YouTube description. Okay, so we're going to add the coffee. It's about 1 cup of coffee. This is a 12-cup coffee maker, and it takes about, they say, 1 tablespoon of coffee per cup, and that equates to just under a cup. Again, I'm going to turn it on, turn the bottom one on, and then when I hit the start button, make sure you've got this under there because water is going to start flowing out there really quick. We've started this before, and sometimes they leave the coffee pots on top, and then we've made a big mess. So you're going to press the button, press this. It's spring loaded. That's the water going in. And you've got water coming out relatively quick. Okay, so this, I'm going to time it. It is relatively noisy, so this is meant for a commercial operation. Okay, so even though the sound of the water has stopped, you're still getting some water coming out of the filter. Okay, so right at the 4-minute mark is when it's just barely dripping, which everybody always gets a pot, and it always makes a mess, but these burners are made to get water on them and coffee on them. You can wipe them off later. Okay, so I'm going to check the temperature. About 165, that's about standard. Okay, so that's got fresh coffee grounds, and it does a pretty good job saturating. I know these things are quick, but it does look like it gets all the coffee grounds wet and pretty well saturated. Again, these things are just super easy to clean up. You just dump them over. And you can rinse these out, but these stay really clean. Okay, so another nice feature is this hot water. It's got instant hot water. So somebody in your office wants hot chocolate or tea, they always have access to hot water. Okay, so this thing is spring loaded. I'm going to try to show you one-handed. But the water comes out pretty quick and it's really hot, so be careful. Okay, so even the hot chocolate water comes out to around 150 after you add so the hot chocolate cocoa probably cools it off a little bit. Okay, so one thing I want to show you is this green light did go off because it's not ready. Because I dumped out a bunch of, or because I got a bunch of hot water out of the water back here in the tank is not up to temperature. You can still brew a pot of coffee, just keep in mind it won't be the correct brewing temperature. Okay, so I want to show you these filters and coffee all in one that we use. So you get a bunch of them in this bag, but So the coffee's inside this filter. There's no mess, no guess on estimation of coffee, and they fit really nice in these coffee makers. Okay, so you put them in here and make it look like a coffee filter, but all the coffee is inside there. We're gonna brew a pot. Okay, so I cut it open. It looks, you know, pretty standard, like pretty standard coffee grounds. Okay, so I cut it open, and it's not very much in there. I typically make my coffee a little stronger than this. So you can see it's just, I'd say maybe a quarter cup, maybe a half a cup, not quite. So I've got this Folgers coffee can that's got just normal coffee in it. And it says for a 10 serving should be about a half a measuring cup. So these are 12 pot coffee makers we're using, and I guess it's pretty close to what it should be. Okay, so with that type of filter in there, one thing I am noticing is it does drip a little longer. It seems like the water kind of stays in there a little longer than with a normal filter. Okay, so that's with that filter that has everything all in one. You can see the water kind of stays in there just a little longer than normal. But they're easy to clean and easy to measure, so somebody could make coffee that maybe didn't know how. Okay, so these Bunn coffee makers are really nice. This one we've had probably 6 or 7 years. We use it 5 days a week. It just gets heavy use, and they hold up. We have not had one thing go wrong with this. Now, the one thing you're going to want to keep on hand is this coffee pot cleaner, because the one thing, so this thing's pretty automatic about brewing a cup of coffee, but somebody has to remember to shut it off. And inevitably, at least once every 6 months, somebody forgets to shut it off, and it takes about, so usually there's like that much left in the coffee pot, and that takes about maybe, seems like 4 or 5 hours before it boils off. And then what happens is you get that burnt coffee in the bottom of a coffee pot. And I've tried just regular soap and a brush, getting in there to clean it. That does not work. You have to use this coffee pot cleaner liquid. I don't know what it is about it. You have to let it soak a little bit, but it actually works really, really well. You don't need a whole lot of it. We just put a little bit in there, and you gotta let it soak and put it with a towel and squish it around, but it actually works. Okay, so again, this is Just a Dad. I want to thank you for watching, and would you please like and subscribe.